All right, is it time to panic? Let's call a Money Huddle and welcome back Seth Denson. He's a NewsMax contributor and a business and market analyst. Also joining us, America's accountant Dan Geltrude, a CPA and founder of Geltrude & Company. Hey, guys.
Hey, y'all. Good to see you.
All right, great to have you in. So people hear these numbers, they see this report. Dan, first to you, how concerned are you about this housing slump? Because, you know, housing is like 18% of the GDP.
Well, it's always concerning for that very reason, because housing is a big part of what happens in the U.S. economy. But let's be clear about something here. Different parts of the country react differently because of economic circumstances. So it's very difficult to just say, well, we're in a downturn in housing across the country, when that may not be true everywhere. We're in a very unusual situation, and that is that prices have stayed higher even though interest rates have been rising. But the reason for that is that there's been less inventory on the market. So right now is a dangerous time to be a buyer because prices are high, interest rates are high. So this is not ideal in terms of especially getting into your first home.
Right, not ideal, but maybe not as bleak, because you're saying there's pockets of the nation that could be fine. A lot of people have been moving to Florida. A lot of people have been moving to Texas. So there's a silver lining, I guess, Seth?
Well, maybe. I mean, if you look at it in all 50 states, there's only one state that's actually seen home values drop, and that's California. Which we were just talking about. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. All the other states are still up over time. And so now, to Dan's point, if you're a buyer, you know, there's an old saying in real estate that you date the rate, but you marry the house, right? Rates are up, but the house prices are still up. They're going to come back down, or the rates will come back down eventually. But the question is when. That could be 12, 24 months. So, as we've said a lot, if you are out there and you are a buyer, you want to make sure that you are marrying the house, that you're comfortable with the principal rate, because you can never restructure the principal. You can restructure the interest rate eventually. Don't overbuy and don't overspend. Also be recognizing that banks are going to be a lot more particular right now on what they're lending out. But in the same way, buyer or sellers, they're going to have to pay for more. For a while, they weren't having to pay for anything. They're going to have to start paying for some things now, like inspections and all that other stuff.
It's hard because we also see rents that are skyrocketing too. Yeah. So just really tough all around, no matter how you slice it, if you're renting or if you're now buying.
And there's so many people who just feel like they've been priced out of the housing market for so long. You know, and that's part of this, right? The invisible hand on the market. Things do need to come down a little bit. So these folks are not priced out. That could change things. Another thing to talk about, I think, which also helps describe the status of the economy right now, is more Americans are financing their groceries. There are services like Klarna and Afterpay. They're offering interest-free short-term loans to cover grocery store payments. I guess, Seth, the good thing is that these are interest-free short-term loans. But I know a lot of people are also putting necessities on their credit cards right now.
Well, yeah, and short-term loans still come due. That's the problem. They're interest-free for how long? And the problem is when people start racking up debt of any kind, interest-free or not, eventually that debt becomes due, and you got to pay for it. This is just a challenge that we're in right now. I was talking earlier about what the market reaction is. We're kind of in a little bit of a lose-lose from a perspective of, if we get a good jobs report tomorrow, and I expect we do, the markets do. That's partly why the market sell-off, which is interesting. You would think the markets would want a good jobs report, but they recognize the Fed's going to continue to be very bullish on raising rates. And that's the reality thing, is rates continue to go up, interest rates go up. Inflation is 12 to 24 months from getting under control. I'm sorry, folks. It's 24 months away, and that's if government stops spending now. This is a problem.
But this also is the lesson we should learn from all this government intervention and the ridiculously low interest rates for this long period of time. You have to unwind it. You have to turn it off at some point, and that's what they're doing right now, and nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it because we've been on a sugar high for a very long time, John. To have basically 0% interest rates for so long, that's just not reality. And it's very, very difficult to come off of that. Why? Because it becomes essentially free money. So when money is so cheap to obtain that way, more people are borrowing, more people are leveraging, including, by the way, the U.S. government. Because as interest rates go up, it gets expensive for all of us, the taxpayers, to be able to pay that debt back. So when you look at the overall picture here of the economy, it's not particularly a strong one. When we are seeing people financing their groceries. I ask you, is that the definition of a recession? I say it is.
Right. And of course, you know, we've seen the Fed saying we still have to continue to try to tamp it down with raising interest rates. And that's sort of where we are, Seth. I mean, some are saying, you know, you don't want that stagflation to continue. It's not as easy as it sounds.
Bianca, yeah, the Fed has to continue to raise interest rates. We have to get this inflation under control. The problem is, though, if we don't get government spending under control, raising the interest rates won't ultimately change the outcome. It was interesting. I listened to the Biden administration talk about this student loan forgiveness program, saying it was going to increase inflation at all. And of course, that's like me saying, well, if I eat that one slice of pizza, it may not increase my waistline. But guess what it's going to do? The 7 slices that I eat thereafter will. And that's the problem with government right now. They don't know when to walk away. To Dan's point, they're on a sugar high, too. Money was cheap, and they keep spending it.
Yeah, we should be talking about that more, and we should be focusing on that more. Yet the Biden administration wants to sweep that under the rug. They want to talk.
Well, they don't want to talk about the economy at all. They want to talk about MAGA Republicans and how evil they are.
Semi-fascist, yeah.
Yes, semi, the operative word there in that equation. Great to see you, Seth and Dan. Well, let's send this money huddle and let's get out there and play.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Break the huddle.